So, Hendy, the college boys are fighting too. It's not just the big boys in the NFL.
Oh, I'm sorry for what I say during this segment. Let's go.
I can't wait to get into it. So it was rivalry week this past weekend.
You betcha it was.
Several games boiled over. None more than your alma maters, the Ohio State-Michigan game, where your own Wolverines pulled off an upset over number 2 ranked Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio. So also, I just want to acknowledge that I had no idea rivalry.
Keep that in. That was good.
I just want to say I had no idea that rivalry week, there we go, was a thing, because I went to Rutgers.
Yeah,
I don't think we were good.
Rival.
That's the thing. It's like I just feel like we were never good enough to have like a legitimate rival. I feel like I would have heard about it. No, it must have, from what I think right now, I think it is Penn State.
Okay.
That's like just because of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, I don't know, something about the tri-state area.
Okay.
There's vibes there.
Sure.
That's
Pennsylvania. Penn State always tries to say like, oh, we have a rivalry with like Michigan. Or like, we have a rivalry with Ohio State. But like, I don't think it's like that big of one personally. This is probably controversial and Penn Staters are going to come for me. But like, when you think of rivalries, like Michigan only thinks of Ohio State.
Yes. That's we don't have that.
And Ohio State only thinks of Michigan. Like that. So, yeah.
So what happened?
Okay, so after the game, Michigan players attempted to plant their flag on the OSU logo, but they were obviously confronted by OSU players. And that's when, of course, the pushing and shoving started. Things got out of hand. Players started throwing punches. Police had to intervene, and they used pepper spray, which I thought was insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was
You ever see
a
pepper
lot.
spray on a football field?
No, I have literally never seen that happen. But
no pepper spray in the rowing community either?
Yeah, crazy.
Y'all weren't throwing punches like that?
No, we weren't throwing punches. Here's the thing that I have the problem with is like, why are we pretending that Michigan was the first team to ever plant a flag on a logo? And like, no one had a problem when Baker Mayfield did it all those years ago. And like, sorry, but Texas did it to Michigan this year, literally in September. And Michigan just went up the tunnel and acted like adults. I understand that I'm too close to the situation.
No, but if it was reversed and they were in Ann Arbor, and Ohio won, they'd probably do the same shit.
And
right?
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. I understand being pissed off about it, like Ohio State. I understand being pissed off about it. But like, the problem that I had was like, you had 60 minutes on the field to make sure that didn't happen. And so if it meant that much to you,
you would have pulled the W out.
Then you had to do something else different on the field because sorry. And I think there was a lot of emotion that factored into it. Like OSU spent like allegedly like $20 million in NIL money this offseason. They like had a lot of returning seniors come back. They were 19.5-point favorites at home. Jim Harbaugh left. Half of their like national championship class left, that Michigan, that being, for the NFL. All of those things went into like the factoring of it. And it was like supposed to be, okay, it was finally supposed to be a big Ohio State win. They were going to crush and dominate. And then they didn't. And sorry, Ryan Day. But like, so I get there was extra emotion, but like, why are we trying to pretend like Michigan, Ohio State haven't been like throwing punches for centuries? Because literally like in all of the hype videos that you see, there's a hype video where Ohio State players are coming out of the Michigan tunnel and they're like ripping the Michigan banner apart and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's from like, I don't know,
that feels
30 years ago or something.
Me.
But like, just give me a break. I'm so over it.
I love that there are hype videos for this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a very serious thing. But I also, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll get off my soapbox, I promise. But like, I think as someone who has been the underdog before, going up against Ohio State, like when we were rowing against them, there is nothing better than being the underdog and then coming out on top. Like our sophomore year, we lost to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship by 1 point. And then we went on and we outranked them in NCAAs like 3 weeks later. That season to me still does not compare to my senior season when we beat them at Big Tens, because like that's all that matters. When you lose to a team again and again and again, and they're so dominant and they have such a good program, and like all you hear about is Ohio State winning or a Michigan winning, like that's all you think about. So being the underdog, doing what they did, embarrassing Ohio State, that's like really what it came down to, was embarrassment. that win for me will be superior for a really long time.
I like that you said it's all about embarrassment, because that really is what it is. That's what losing is. That's why it fucking sucks to lose, because you're just like, damn, I could have had it, but I didn't.
And like, I'm sorry, rivalries are meant to be this passionate. Right. They're meant to be this big of a thing.
Well, I heard that they're trying to call, like, people are calling for a ban on the Man on the Moon-esque flag planting
like that
on
reference.
The opposing team's field. What do you think about that?
Well,
are you pro or against? It sounds like you're against.
No, like, let rivalries be rivalries. Like, I just don't think that you can really control that. It's like, I think Baker Mayfield said it best. He said, like, college football is meant to have rivalries. That's like the Big 12 banning the horns down signal. He was like, just let the boys play. And that's what makes college football so great, is the rivalries. It's like that it gives you this whole other aspect and emotional side of it that you get, that you don't really get in the pros in the same
I was
way.
just about to say, it's like, I know we've talked shit about the kids in the stadiums these days, how they have no manners and stuff, but like, you know, a respectful enough rivalry is more interesting than with like among college kids, because you're like, oh, they're just college kids. But then when you go to the NFL and like you see grown men actually throwing punches, you're like, all right, this is too much. So
also, like, have you ever heard of bragging rights? I don't know. Sorry. If you win, you get to brag a little bit. Like, people
you earn
like,
that.
Yeah, people are like, well, why do you feel the need to shove it down, like, people's throats? And I'm like, why do you feel the need to go crying about it? Like, go fight harder. Go play better. Go game plan better. Sorry.
All right, Coach Hendy, heard it here first.
I'm too close to it. I get it.